Well, to other news now. As the rest of Britain comes to terms with austerity cuts, inflation and low pay rises, it's bonus season for the banking sector. They should be more socially responsible, according to the Prime Minister, who's called on the banks to pay smaller bonuses this year. It comes amid reports that the boss of RBS, which is majority owned by the taxpayer, could receive a bonus of more than £2 million in all. Our economics editor, Faisal Islam, reports.
For the last two crisis years, the banking bosses have waived their bonuses, even as their star traders have been paid. This year, a new government, new banking bosses and a new attitude, even as taxpayer subsidies continue and austerity bites everywhere else.
Billions of pounds of bonuses will be granted to bankers in the next few weeks, including those at bailed out banks. And this time, the bosses too will claim multi-million-pound bonuses. It's creating a grand political headache for a government which wants to say we're all in this together.
After reports of an imminent £2.5 million bonus for the boss of Royal Bank of Scotland, the Prime Minister sending this morning a clear message to the state-owned bank.
On the general, I want to see the bonus pool smaller than last year. On the specific, Royal Bank of Scotland, as you rightly say, is owned by the government. They should not be leading the way on bonuses. They should be a backmark.
But the PM also keen to stress the need to put an end to so-called banker bashing.
They've got to be successful banks. They've got to be, good performing banks. And I want to be able to sell them back into the private sector, to pay the taxpayer back their hard-earned money that they put into those banks. And we won't do that if we micro-manage them on a daily basis.
Last year's bonus round saw all the big four bank bosses waive their rights to a multi-million-pound payout, except HSBC, where it was paid and then donated to charity. This approach looks like changing this year as many bank bosses change too. RBS's Stephen Hester could be on course for a £2 million plus bonus. Departing Lloyds boss Eric Daniels could be in line for a £2 million golden goodbye. HSBC's new boss Stuart Gulliver, who did take a £9 million bonus for a different job last year, seems likely to pick up a multi-million-pound bonus this year. Similarly, Barclays' new boss Bob Diamond, who's been paid £75 million over the past 5 years, is entitled to a hefty bonus payment. The new Barclays boss is up before the Treasury Select Committee on Tuesday, with some MPs demanding he waive his right to a bonus. Discussion between bankers and the government is currently centred on an industry-wide agreement to increase lending to business.
What my constituents will want to see is that these bankers, the heads of these big organisations, recognise the support that has been provided to their sector by taxpayers who are now paying in terms of the fiscal austerity that's been imposed upon them by the Conservative-led coalition government.
There's something of a phony war going on between the bankers and the government. The reality is that today's words from David Cameron were found to be rather reassuring, cautious on the part of the bankers. And there's one reason for that. The government has a shared interest with the banks in creating and fostering a private sector-led recovery to generate the jobs that are likely to be lost from the public sector cuts. Faisal Islam, Channel 4 News, near the City.